Hey guys, so for defensive linemen, one thing I really like to do is work on being able to shed hands from a blocker. So whatever level you're playing at, the offensive lineman is always going to try and shoot their hands at you, especially on pass protection. They're going to be dropping back, shooting those hands. So one thing we want to be able to do is get rid of those. So this is something I like to do with all of my defensive linemen, and it's very simple to do. It takes 2 to 3 minutes. You can get a lot of reps in. And what we're trying to work on here is not only shedding the hands, but also gaining ground at the same time. So one thing that happens a lot for younger players is maybe they're really good at shooting the hands or getting rid of them, but then they have to take 2 or 3 steps to then get around the offensive player. So what ends up happening is if we look at this and watch me draw this on the side here, is if you have a player here, and let's say it's the offensive lineman, if you're the defensive lineman here, if you don't take a step to get next to them as you go, you have that much further to go. So if you just hit the hands and you have to come sideways and then go around, it's going to take you a lot longer than if we can cut that corner off and take that step forward. And you'll see what I mean in 1 second. So with this drill, whether you use these pads that I have here as extenders, or if you use arms, like just use your arms as a coach, or if you and, if it's 2 players, you guys work together, you want to be able to have those arms out there to act as if they're the offensive lineman's arms. And what we'll do is we're just going to work on multiple ways of hitting these and getting through. And notice my step. So this is what I'm talking about. When anytime we do something like this to get rid of the hands, we always want to step forward and get closer to the offensive lineman, because that's going to make us even with him. If we get even with him, we're going to beat him around the corner. So what you can do here is when we have this, what I like to work on is start with the pads and the arms overly up high. All right, so get them above eye level. It's going to be a pretty drastic change, but we want the players to understand, if you see arms that are up, send the arms up. Don't have arms that are high and try to hit them down. Like if these were arms here, if someone tried to block us and the arms are up here, if we try to hit them down, we have to do so much energy to lift our arms up to bring them down. And that's also not a powerful position. That's not how we're trained to anything. If you take your arms up at this height and try to push down, not going to help us. Okay, it's not a good position for us. So anytime we're in this position, you want to shoot them up. So to me, there's 3 different ways to do it. The most common one is going to be to shed both of them and hit them across. All right, then you're going to have one where you hit across and we're going to rip underneath, and then you hit across or try to hit it down, and you're going to swim move just through this arm here. So we're just going to show these really quick. We'll show them in half speed. So these are just the variations of what you can do. All right, so we're going to hit both of them across. Then we're going to hit and we're going to do the rip underneath. All right, so you're basically going to hit one arm and rip underneath to try and clear those arms out. And then the last one, like I said, is the swim. And it's going to be trying to work that down and then swim over it. So with that being said, the other thing to focus on too for these players is when we strike the arms, we want to strike further back at the elbow. All right, so when we target the elbow, it's just if you take your arm and you hold it here and you try to basically resist that, you can really turn that shoulder and resist. If you hit at the elbow and try to turn yourself, it's a lot harder. So anytime you teach these players to attack, you're going to try and attack and throw the arms, all right, by attacking at the elbow. The other thing is always try and have the hands like this. So if you notice my hands as I go to hit on these in these first couple, is I have my hand here, because if you can catch someone's arm, like if you can catch underneath the elbow here with this, that's a lot more powerful of a position than if we just kind of slap with the fingers. All right, you'll see some players slap with the fingers. Get them to almost cup their hands a little bit, because someone's arm will fit right in here, and that really gives you an easier access point to kind of hit and shoot that up or shoot it down. Either way, it's going to kind of fit right on that arm and hit it down. So these are the variations to the side, guys. So I'll just kind of play this as I'm talking. So you can do these up, all right? So if you're doing these up, just do them to both sides, all right? Pick the ones you like to do. You can do 3 or 4 reps of each one, all right? So if you did 3 reps of each of these, that'd be 9 reps to the right side. You'd have 9 reps to the left side. That's 18 reps right there, guys, and it would probably take you 30 seconds. Once the players are used to the drill, it takes 30 seconds, all right? And it's just a good way to give them a breather, have them just work some technique to just try and get better at it. And like I said, notice my steps here of just always, anytime they're going to do this, we want to move forward, okay? We want to see this. We want to see them take a step, get closer to that lineman. All right, the other variation, guys, is just doing them low. So make sure those arms are low, because sometimes if you have a player who's taller, much taller, anyone that's shooting their hands is always going to be low in their chest. It's going to almost be hitting them down in the stomach. So you can work on it being low, and anytime, same thing, if the arms are low, we're going to want to push it down, okay? Because now we're in a powerful leverage position where we can push down. And for that offensive lineman, if this was an offensive lineman's arms, if they try to push up, it's going to be almost impossible. That's not another strong option where your arms are up. It's hard to lift them, especially if there's pressure. So we're just going to hit them down. So work on these, same thing. I'm just going to play this video. You just work on hitting them down. That was a bad rep for me. If you watch that, I kind of hit it with my fingertips. You really want to get on top of that and hit it. So don't do the fingertip thing. That's on, not necessarily great reps by me, but it's just to show the sides of where we can go. So we want to hit down to the side, and then we can hit down and we can go and swim over the top of that. That would be a really good position. I would always recommend, if the arms are up and you're gonna push arms up, I really recommend either the double or the hit and the rip underneath. If you're gonna push hands down and throw them down, that's where I would recommend the swim. I just think it's a little bit easier. So just an option, guys. Like I said, this is just a really good drill that you can do if you have some of these arm pads, or if you just use your arms. You can have the players stand across from each other, give them 5 minutes of rest, and just tell them to just work back and forth. Give them some reps to do, and they'll be able to work on this. And it just helps with seeing where those arms are and then being able to shed them and really just get contact and getting those hands used to that motion. And then, like I said, always cue them up to be stepping forward, because we don't want to leave our feet and then have to take the steps, because it gives the offensive lineman a chance to recover. So good drill, like I said, for defensive linemen. And just click the subscribe button, guys. You're going to get more videos like this, and to see more options and fundamentals you can work on as a defensive lineman.